All right, good evening, brethren. This is Brother Mike Watson, Grace Baptist Church. I'm giving the evening edification. It's kind of geared toward the saints, those who believe. And as Brother Stephen said, I pray that this message is inspired by God, that y'all don't see me, that y'all see God, operating through me. Our pastor and his wife are in Kansas City. He's a little bit got some health issues going on, and we pray for his speedy recovery and that they have a safe and return trip back to us in Savannah, and that while they're up there, they are being blessed and having a good time with family and friends. Tonight, I think Brother Chris and we all speak of it and have spoke of it. I think the last time he just touched on it a little bit, and so tonight. The message is just going to be simply trusting God. That's all, just simply trusting God. We sang a lot of songs with trusting God, trust and obey is the only way, and it is. So I'm going to speak on that, and we'll be in Daniel 3. Now, we'll go back and forth, but we'll be in Daniel 3, 8 to 28. And we think about trust. If anything, simple things like we trust that engine, that car out there, it's a combustible engine. If you know anything about how it works, spark plugs ignite, they ignite the fuel, the gas, and what we think at any time, we don't worry about when we turn that baby on, it ain't gonna explode, Stephen, do we? We trust that every time we fire that thing up, get on about our business. But if you know how it works, man, there's a lot of explosions going on, pushing that thing forward. But do we have any concern about that? Till we see one on the side of the road up in flames, then we'll be like, man, and we still don't even worry about it, We don't, we know, but we trust that car is gonna not explode on us when we start it, even though we know what's going on with it, with the gas, the spark plugs, the things igniting and things, but we never worry about it, don't even concern ourselves. What was it, about a month ago, it was on national news. Most people get on planes, they trust that their pilot is sober. But they found a pilot, he was drunk. Right here, Savannah Hilton Head, right there. Yeah, but we trust that, hey, and see, I know I used to be a club owner and stuff, and I used to go to clubs when I was lost, and you would see a lot of pilots and bars drinking, and they can do that on their time off, but they're human like anybody else. They say it's a stressful job, and it probably is, like most jobs can be stressful. But you hope that when it's time for him to pilot that plane, that when you're on it, that he's sober. But guess what? Most people don't even think about it. They don't even think about it. They trust him. They trust him. We don't think about it. We don't even have no concern. Half the time we don't even know if the pilot's up there. The pilot could be drunk. We don't care. He could be on drugs. I mean, it's just, but you get on that plane without a concern in the world because you trust that the pilot in that plane or the pilots, the co-pilots, they are doing what they're supposed to do. Same thing with our politicians. We trust them. We trust that they're going to do what they're going to say. And sometimes we know that, hey, it may be a tough road, but we trust that when they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Even if they don't do it, we still trust them. Well, they'll get it done some kind of way, But that's man, and look how much we have trust in man. And I'll say it like this here, and this is what we're going to talk about, trusting God. It's like, what about us? How much do we trust God? Really trust God in our lives to rule and reign in our lives, even in the tough times. It's easy to trust in the good times, but what about the tough times? What about when brothers and I have heard it and come to me and some say them, and it has encouraged me about trusting God when things are tough. But it's easy to tell someone to trust something when you ain't got no skin in the game. What about when you got skin in the game? It gets a little, like we say, hey, it gets a little tough. It does, it gets a little tough when the heat is on you, and they're like, trust me. You're like, man, you don't know what I'm going. But that is what we should be doing, trusting God. I'm going to read something. This is my release of liability form. Most people know I am a personal trainer. I've been doing it for 7 years, thank God. And this is what it says: in consideration of being allowed to participate in personal training, this is with me, training activities and programs of Power and Faith Fitness, and the use of his facilities, equipment, and services, in addition of the payment of any fee or charge, I do, this is what they sign off, I do hereby forever waive, release, discharge Power and Faith Fitness and its officers, that's even people I hired to work in my behalf, agents, employees, representatives, executives, and all including those caused by the negligent act or omission of any of those mentioned or others acting on their behalf arising out of the connected with my participation in any activities, programs, or services of Power and Faith Fitness, or the use of any equipment, various sites, including home, provided and by and recommended by Power and Faith Fitness. Okay, that's the first part. They waive anything, even negligence, even if it's on my part. They waive that. But here's where I'm going to get you to, and here's two, and after that I'm going to get to where I'm trying to get to. I have been informed of understanding and aware that strength, flexibility, aerobic exercise, including the use of equipment, is potentially hazardous activity, and is. I also have been informed of and understand and aware that fitness activities involve risk of injury, including a remote risk of death and serious disability, and that's for sure. And I am voluntarily participating in these activities and using equipment and machinery with full knowledge and understanding and appreciation the dangers involved. I hereby do agree to expressly assume and accept any and all risk and injury, including death. This is my liability form. They signed this, understanding, but you know why they signed it? They trust that old Coach Mike gonna look out for them. Old Coach Mike gonna get them safe. He gonna keep them safe. I'm just a man now. But they feel like I'm knowledgeable, and they assume that risk and say, well, you know what? I believe in Coach Mike. I'm gonna trust him. That he ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. And I do it with the best. Listen, I do it with the best of my ability. That's why I tell them when I'm out there with my clients, I don't have a phone on. Listen, I'm focused on them because things can happen quick. It has happened. It don't take but a second. But they trust me that, listen, I'm going to make sure that they don't get injured, that they don't die out there on my watch. And I do the best I can, Brother Mike. But I'm just a man. I pray that, Lord, here, help me to watch over these folks. Keep them safe. So we're going to start, and that's why I say, we can trust man, we trust situations. As Christians, we should totally trust God. Daniel 3:8, we know that, and we're going to kind of jump around. 3:8, and it's about the three Hebrew boys. Wherefore as the time, and I'm going to go quick as possible, wherefore as the time, wherefore at that time, this Daniel 3:8, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. And they spake unto the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou hast made a decree that every man that should hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music should fall down and worship the golden image. Well, you know, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't do that. They worshiped the true and living God. And whosoever falleth not down worship, they should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And certain Jews whom they had set over the affairs, so they were important. And if you know the backstory, prophets of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these men, O king, have not regarded thee that they serve not their gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And so we know at 13, Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fire and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. So Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image, which I have set up? Now if you be ready that at that time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, saxophone, sorcery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music. Ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that should deliver you out of my hands? And he's going to find out. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said, O King Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But this is where I want to get you. But if not, be known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Listen here. They trusted God because they knew he could deliver them. But guess what? They said, even if he don't, if we become martyrs, it's still going to be all right. It's still going to be all right. We trust in God regardless of what is this outcome. See, sometimes we want an outcome to be in favor of us to where that, okay, we all right, heal us, Lord, but sometimes it may not be. They trusted him regardless. Do we have that kind of trust, brothers, when the heat is turned up? And we're going to go down a little further, but we'll come back there. So, this is going to be where we're going to be at primarily. But do we have that? Is that within us? To trust God when we don't understand. Like some of us is getting to the age of retirement. I had to do it. When I retired, I didn't really want to retire at the time, but it was something that was pressed on me. It was during COVID. Here I am. Listen, I got to think, Lord, I'm like anybody else. I'm trying to make sure that I got things established. That, okay, I got a good truck driving job. I was doing a little pressure washing on the side, and the job wasn't hard. But it was getting to a point where it was something was bothering me, and I'm like, man, it must be about time. And I had just started the training business, but it's not guaranteed. It's based on clients, people to come. I had a job that every week. I work, guaranteed salary, guaranteed pay every week. Yeah. Now I gotta like, man, Lord, you sure? Like I say, do we trust him when we kind of gotta take our hand? Do we trust him when my finances is not looking good? Do I trust him, Stephen, to do what he needs to do in my behalf to make sure that I'm gonna be able to take care of my family, even when I can't see it? See, I couldn't see that, well, you know what, man, I know training is tough as it is. People, I'm outside, I ain't even got a gym, it's hot, bugs flying, biting. People ain't gonna have it like that. Will people come to that? Well, yeah, they came. They're still coming. But I had to and that's just like I told you, I did get back in the truck because things had slowed down. To me, it seemed like the worst thing I could have ever done. Just like me and brother, man, it's like, Lord, you get out of that truck. Trust me, Mike. That's what you gotta, things might be, you don't have to worry. Just continue doing what you're doing. You don't know what I'm getting ready to send your way. Young folks, whoever, somebody that may need to hear the word, somebody that you may influence to the Lord. You don't know. So you get out of that truck. And I got back out of it, and I haven't been back in it since. Just for a brief moment, because guess what? I didn't want to trust God that he could take care of me just for a little while. We all human. We're in the flesh. And we all are guilty of that. I gotta have an understanding. We're gonna go to these verses that, okay, I need to do this, do that, do that. No, you just trust God. Now, you don't be lazy, but you trust God. He's gonna make this thing. As long as you're being obedient and doing what you're supposed to do, just trust him. Regardless of how the outcome, you trust him. So let's go to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews 3:16. You can see God working in other folks' lives. You can have seen him work in your lives, but when things get tough, sometimes, let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 3. Hebrews 3. Trust in God. Hebrews 3, verses 16 to 19. For some, when they have heard, did provoke, however, not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. See what it says? For some, when they had heard, did provoke, how about not all that came out of Egypt by Moses, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness, and for whom swore that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. They didn't trust God. And we're going to let's go to Numbers 13. Let's go to Numbers 13. Let's see a little bit more about that. Let's see. Let's just see. There's going to be a lot of good information in Numbers. Let's go to Numbers 13. We're going to jump around. Numbers 13. All right, Numbers 13, 27 to 30. All right, Numbers 13, 27 to 30. All right, so we see what's going on. They're in the wilderness. God had given promise them the promised land flowing with milk and honey. And y'all just go get it. So they sent spies to investigate, and that's true. That's what you do. Let me go see what it looks like. And when they went and came to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness, and Paran and Kadesh, they brought back word unto them and all the congregation and showed them the fruit of the land. We know the fruit, man, grapes big as couldn't even keep them. They were so big. The vines was falling over. And they told them that we came into the land whether thou sentest us, and surely it flowed. Look what it says. Surely, didn't God tell them? It flowed with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, look what it says. The people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities that walk, and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. And the Amorites dwell in that land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountain of and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast. And Caleb, thank God for Caleb. And Caleb stilled the people for Moses and said, let's go up into this place once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. But look what happened. But the men that went up and said, well, we will not be able to go against these people, for they are stronger than we. See, they started looking at themselves, not at God. It was God that promised it to them. See, this is what happened with us. Sometimes we start trusting us, what I can do. Guess what? We can do, it's going to be limited. We're going to fret just like we see this. See, this is the part where, not trusting God. There's going to be consequences. Not trusting God. So we see, look as we go on, and they brought unto an evil report of the land which they searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land though which we have gone to search it is the land that eateth up with inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw were men with great stature. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come to of the giants, and we were in our sight like grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight. Okay. So it might have been a little task. They weren't going to just give up the land. But you had the word of God, trust God. He was giving you the land. You just had to go in and possess it. See, if we look at our resources and what we are able to do and able to accomplish, a lot of times it's not going to add up. It never will add up. This is like that song, my favorite song, Little Is Much When God Is In It. When God is in it, you ain't got to worry about it. You got to trust him. Now, we're going to see there's a consequence because they didn't trust him. So my first point, when you don't trust him and you trust yourself and what you understand, and we know that verse and we'll go to it. Lean not on thy own understanding. All their ways acknowledge him, and he will direct their ways. But look what it says. And then we're going to see what the Lord says. Let's just go up down. And look what they started grumbling. And go to Numbers 14, right next to it, Numbers 14. And the people and the congregation lifted up their voice and cried out, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses, against Aaron. Well, they was murmuring against God. The whole congregation said to them, would God that we have died in the land of Egypt, and would God have not died in this wilderness? Who delivered them out of the land of Egypt? God. They saw firsthand. See, this shows you how we are. Firsthand, they saw the plagues on Egypt. They saw the parting of the Red Sea. They saw the Egyptians, the pharaohs, the armies drown in the Red Sea, and that they walked across. And yet, look what it says. And wherefore had the Lord brought us into this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and children should be as prey warriors, we not better to return into Egypt. That's like a slap in the face to the Lord, because they didn't trust him. Only thing they trusted was what they saw and what they thought that could happen. Well, that same God that you're not trusting now was the same God that delivered you out of the hands of the Pharaoh, delivered you out of Egypt, got you through the Red Sea, fed you in the wilderness, and you still not trusting that he can deliver that land that he promised. And look what it says. Let's go down. Look what but you do have, look at Joshua and Caleb. Let's go to 14:6. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, they went there, rent their clothes, and there spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we pass it through to search it is an exceedingly good land. The Lord delight in us. If the Lord delight in us, then so listen here, it say but we know that the Lord delighted in them. Then he already promised them they had to trust him. Then he will bring us in this land and give it us a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only, look what they say, only rebel not against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land. They are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them. These folks here got confidence and trust in the Lord. That's what we're supposed to be, Caleb and Joshua. And the Lord is with us, fear them not. But all the congregation, look what they stoned them with stones. And the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation and before the children of Israel, before all the children of Israel. And look what it say. And the Lord said to Moses, how long? Just what I mentioned, what the Lord say, what he was talking about and before. How long, look what it say, will this people provoke me, not trusting me, and how long will it be ere that they believe me for all the signs which I have shown among them? They saw, the Lord already had proved himself, and yet they still didn't trust. See, sometimes we can get out and we look at our frail understanding of things. That's not trust. Real trust is like, Lord, whatever the outcome, you say do it, I'm going to do it. It's hard sometimes, like I say, for me when I wanted to retire. I didn't really want to, but I always kept, like I say, my CDLs in my back pocket just in case. But the Lord showed me, I don't need your CDLs. This is nothing for me. I'll send the people to you. You just got to trust me. But always like a little backup. No, that's how we think. I always need a little security. Well, Christians, our security shouldn't be on what we think and what we know, what we surmise. Shouldn't our security be in the Lord? Shouldn't we trust the Lord? That's why our security be trusting the Lord. As long as we're doing what we're supposed to do, I might not understand, hey, Lord, my bills total this and that, and I need a certain amount of people, and don't worry. Are we trusting the Lord like we should? Or as long as it's all right, I can trust you, Lord, but when things get a little tight, the heat get turned on me. Like I say, these folks trust me and sign this. I can't guarantee nothing. But they trust, Mike, we trust you that you're going to look out and take care of us. All right, let's go to, we should trust God. Like I say, trusting God is one of the, if not the most important things in our Christian faith. It's the foundation of our faith. You got to realize this. It's not about believing in God. We can believe God. We can believe, Lord, he saved me. But his sovereignty, his unwavering love, his wisdom in difficult times, can we put our trust in him then? Can we trust God with our plans, our fears, our desires, our resources when they're limited? Knowing he's the God of the universe, the God of creation of all things, whose ways and thoughts are higher than ours. Let's go to Isaiah 55. That's the God we trust in. Not the one where our understanding is clouded, because you know what? It's easy, brother, and I'm going to tell you it is easy when the pressure is on. Isaiah 55, 55:8-9. Look what it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord. For as in the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. So that lets you know that the things that we might be thinking, we serve a God that is way above anything we can imagine. We should trust in him. Not in what we understand. Let's go to Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Proverbs 3. We should, his ways ain't like our ways. We may not understand everything that's going on in our life. You know, like I say, it was during a time with COVID. People that was concerned about, man, living. Well, nobody thinking about, man, this here got rough because, hey, man, the economy started getting bad, jobs started failing because of COVID. People didn't know what to do. And here it is, God's like, it's time for you to retire. And I'm looking, well, wait a minute now. You sure, Lord? You know what? Because guess what? I was looking at what was going on around me. I was looking at, because I was like comfortable training and driving trucks. I had it down to a science. Drive the truck in the morning, come in and train in the afternoon. And then all of a sudden, Lord say, it's time for you to get out that truck full time. This is COVID full blast. People wearing masks. At that time, I had to ride. That was when the peak of it, when I had to, if you didn't have, I had a government letter, because we forget that they had a curfew. You just couldn't be out there. People forgot about this stuff. Somebody said, you was right. You just couldn't be out and about unless you was essential. You forgot just how quick time. You remember that? You had to be an essential type of employee. And you know, everybody was essential, but you know, like I say, you just couldn't be out there all time of night and thinking that, you know, hey, you're gonna get stopped while you're out here. You better be going to your job. So I'm like, man, this is rough. But guess what? You know, I retired in 7 years, I've been doing it. And has it been tight times? Yeah. But trusting the Lord I'm still doing it. Thank you. And so we see Proverbs where I say, 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord. And this is what we've been talking about. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And look what it says. It says trust. This is what it says. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thy own understanding. Listen here. When it says all thy heart, that's everything. That's everything we got. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct that paths. And I know it's hard sometimes, because we're human. But man, when we can just release and let go and let God and just, hey, Lord, I'm going to trust you. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thy own understanding. You know, my understanding during COVID time was, this is a time we never seen. Man, we never seen nothing like this in my lifetime. You know, I didn't have a clue like most people didn't have a clue. And I was like, man, I don't know, you know. And hey, where's your faith? Trust me, I'm greater than COVID. I'll deliver you. I'll get you through this here. Here's a lot of uncertainty, but the God we trust is certain. He's not an uncertainty in our lives. In the Christian life, he should be a certain thing, that he's more than capable of doing in and out. So sometimes, you know, like I said, we fail. We do when health is not like it's supposed to be. As we get older, I know we all got issues. Even though I'm a trainer, I got issues. You know, we struggle with that, what to do. We do what they say, but man, we still got to trust in the Lord. We do the best we can. Don't get me wrong. We know these bodies is failing. Eventually they're going to fade on out. But we trust the Lord when they do fade on out. Hey, absent from the body is present with the Lord. Amen. We're going to be with him. Amen. we're going to be with him. So regardless, we don't want to experience, but it's going to be a glorious thing for us. Isaiah 55:11. Isaiah 55:11. Isaiah 55:11. We're about done. So, let's go to 10. Because we just went right there. We just was there, 55:8 and 9. Let's go to 10. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watered in the earth, and make it bring forth, and make it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed, and the soil the bread to the eater. Look what it says. This is where I want to get you at. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing where I sent it. That's what we trust in, brother. See, the children of Israel at that time, that's what they should have trusted in. He told them it's their land. He giving it to them. His word, he just said, listen, it's not going to go out void. What come out of his mouth, so be it. Trust his word. This is what we got to stand on. What's the good thing about us Christians modern day? We get to see the beginning and the end. So even us, and I know, listen here, like I said, we only human. We should be trusting even more because we got everything in his word. We get to see the frailty, the others that were before us, the saints. We get to see all of this. We get to see the beginning and the end. We get to see the blessings of trusting, and when we don't trust God, we get to see the judgment and the punishment, because there was punishment placed on those guys, those children of Israel, because they was afraid they didn't go into the land, and we knew. So that's why I say we have to trust God at his word. And we got to move aside. Can't trust our finances. That's the big one. The world, or the world. Because the world's getting probably much to buck our money anyway, so we can't trust in that. Our time. We can't be so busy to where we don't think we got enough time to do the things we need to do for the Lord. And a lot of times we get caught up in it. I have been guilty. I know there are other brothers too. We work around the clock. We work, and the job consumes all our time. But sometimes we got to step aside and trust the Lord. Lord, maybe it's something else I need to do. Start worrying about finances and people and worry more about God, trusting our time with more doing the things for the Lord. That don't mean we forsake our duties, but hey, a lot of times our duties, and I know it, I've been there, we give so much to the world that the Lord gets a couple of pennies of time just because we're rushing. He doesn't get a lot of time. And we know because we get consumed. Let's go to Matthew 14. So are we trusting him? Are our eyes on Jesus when we're working and doing so much, and I'm not picking at nobody, I've been there. Our eyes is on the world when we're working the job. We need to do this. We're trying to please man. That's not wrong. We're supposed to be faithful on our job, but when it becomes our job becomes our life, and the Lord is nowhere to be found because we're so dead tired, that's not good. We need to trust him with our time, like, Lord, okay, I'm going to let you manage this. Need to guide me in a direct way. Matthew 14, 24 to 31. Matthew 14. Matthew 14. Yeah. But the ship now was in the midst of the storm. We understand it's Peter walking on the water. But when the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed in waves, for the winds were contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, and said, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, look what he said, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Couple of things in here. Peter trusted the Lord up to a certain point. He had some, that was some serious trust to walk on the water. That was some serious trust now. You ain't see nobody else say anything about it. Everybody else was, they was afraid. It was, you gotta realize, listen, that's like me. Brother Chris said, I'm tough on land. I don't care nothing about being on the water either. I ain't a swimmer. But that was some serious trust that he trusted the Lord to walk on the water. Come on. But look what happened. He started looking around. The things that were going on. That's what happened with us sometimes. It's not that we don't trust the Lord, but we get to looking around at our circumstances. And then the trust start fading. But when we do that, and I'm not trying to, listen here, because like I say, I'm preaching to me too. I'm the same Lord that bidded you to walk. You keep focusing on me. I'm the same Lord that had delivered you from Egypt. You still trust me. It don't matter what goes on. So sometimes it will, they don't want to talk. It's offensive. It's offensive to the Lord. Like, because there was things he said, it's like, I done showed you all these signs. And it's like, what? Y'all still don't believe? You still ain't trusting what I can do? What? What else I'm going to do? But that's us taking the lead. See, when Peter started worrying, that was going on in the beginning. It was going on when he asked Jesus to bid me. But then he started, took his eyes off of Jesus, that's a lot of time, and placed it on himself and what was going on around him. He knew he couldn't deliver himself out of it, and so he began to sink. But look what Jesus, I got you. This should let us know also, regardless of what's going on, trust him, he got us. We're going to have verses that's going to confirm that. So, regardless of what he has us, his trust wavered. He said, Lord, help me, and he helped him. Go back to Daniel 3:16. Go back to Daniel 3:16. So, we see that as long as we trust the Lord, he's going to help us. He's going to deliver us. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand. This is our attitude, you see, which should be, O king, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then look what it says, in Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury. And the form was his visage had changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And therefore he spake and commanded that, look what it says, should he heat the furnace 1/7 times more than it would have been heated. You know, you don't think, we want to think that these young men were superhuman, super spiritual. They were just obedient to God. They trusted God. Now, you don't know this in here. When things hit, they probably was no different, man. This is going to be rough. Because if Lord didn't deliver them, we're going to go. They didn't know. Because they already said if he don't. But they trusted in whatever. It didn't matter. This is where we should be. It don't matter what's going on in my life. I'm going to trust the Lord that whatever he does is the right thing. Whether it ends in me failing or not doing this, or it ends in me being up and being able to verbally glorify the Lord, or I'm going to be a martyr. We have to trust him that much. Well, we don't know what the outcome going to be. Maybe good, maybe not so good. But regardless, Lord's going to know, this here, he already knows it's going to be whatever he decides, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good either way. For he commanded the most mighty men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, this 20, and Abednego, and cast them into the burning fires. Then these men bound their coats and horsed their hats and their other garments, and were cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And therefore the king commanded was urgent, and the furnace was exceedingly hot, and the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was mighty hot. The men, they got burned. So, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fires. And Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste, and spake unto his counselors, Did we not cast three men bound in the midst of the fire? And they answered, say that, O king, true, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the fourth is like the Son of God. And then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the burning fire furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, your servants of the Most High God, come forth, come hither. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. The princes and the governors and the captains and the king's council been gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire has passed over them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel that delivered his servants, and that look what it say, trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they may not serve nor worship any God except their own God. They trusted, regardless of what. They wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be. They wasn't sure. Listen here. Somebody get ready to put you in a fire. You're not sure the Lord's going to deliver you? If you know you didn't do anything wrong, you're not sure. We get in this country, and a lot of people, probably churches, are speaking about Charlie Kirk. Like I say, this young man, all he did was go to college campuses and debate people with the truth. And it's getting bad where, and I was telling, that's just like the young man that was assassinated. We all deal with, he definitely wasn't. I mean, listen, he didn't do what Charlie Kirk did. But what's funny is people, they're down in Charlie, you got people on the internet, he should have happened. Well, that's just like the insurance executive, same thing. They're different, but this man, he was just the CEO, he wasn't the company. And he got shot in the back of the head, and people were applauding at what he did to somebody. This is where we're getting at. But you know what? We got to trust God that, regardless of what's going on in this country, God's still in control. We just do our part. So we see that they trusted God through hard times, through the midst of the burning fire. Whether he delivered them or not, they were still going to trust him. And look what happened, it changed the king's heart. Songs 18, 118, 8 through 9. Songs 118. Songs 118, we're about there. Songs 118. Richard talked about this, 2 weeks ago? Or 2 or 3 weeks, because it's... Psalms 118, you talked about this, yes. I just mentioned it earlier, but it's about trust. Yeah, Psalms 118, verses 8 and 9. Yeah, you had gave a message on this here about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. It is better to trust in the Lord, than to put confidence in man. But we do it all the time. Like I said, Brother Richard spoke on this in his message about 3 weeks ago. These same 2 verses. Look what it says. It's better to trust the Lord than to put confidence in princes. That's government. I know we want to. And listen, I hear it a lot. And I'm not picking on us, picking on Christians. We got the left and the right. If the right was running it, listen here, you got rid of the left, we're still gonna have problems. We still have, because you got to realize, men love darkness rather than light because our deeds are evil. Most of them are not Christians. Most of them are not Christians. Would it be better? I don't know. When Brother Chris told that story about when a bunch of Christian folks wanted to build a community together, he said it was the worst thing. And these were Christian folks. These were Christian folks. He tell you, he was in the community. These were the people supposed to be like mine. Serve the same God. I don't know, you probably know something about that too, Mike, but he say it was a mess. So that lets you know we can't have confidence in ourselves. It's better to trust God than man. We are man. Amen. So don't think the government is going to solve our problems. Better to trust God than to put confidence in princes, our government. Don't do it. Yeah, we want the best. We want our government to do. But man, I'm going to tell you this here. It's probably going to be a lost hope. Better to trust God in all situations. Let's go to Romans 7. Romans 7, I think 14, 24. I think I had it. I'm about there to see where we're at. Hope we're doing good. All right. Romans 7. Romans 7, 14. That's just like, we know we should trust God, but that's where Paul say, this is where I want to get you at, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I'm carnal, sold under sin. So that's what, our carnal minds, even though we should, and this is talking to Christian, for that which I do, I allow not, for what I would, but do I not, but what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is which is good. Now then it is no more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. And we know it's been called, it's sin when we don't trust the Lord. It's a sin when we don't trust the Lord that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that it is in my flesh dwelleth no good thing, for to will to present with me, and how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would do, I do not, but the evil which I would do not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me, I find in a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me, for I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity of the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who should deliver me from this body of death? It sees, and this lets us know that it's our flesh that we struggle with trusting the Lord a lot of times. Things that are going on in our mind, our circumstances. That sinful man is still there. The spiritual man should, it tells us throughout, there's a war. So sometimes when we like to trust, it's that old sinful man. We're relying on self, but we can't trust self. I'm about to, we remember, and I won't go there. We won't go there, but it's in first, I think it's in Samuel. And so, 1 Samuel 13, it was when Saul was anointed first king of the children of Israel. There was a little skirmish that went on with the Philistines, and They hadn't had an army yet, but but Philistines, they got mad, so they lost. It was a little scrimmage, and as they say, they got their hands handed to them, their rears handed to them. But Saul was word, so Samuel said, listen here, Saul, I'm going to seek counsel from the Lord. 7 days I'll be back, and I tell you what to do. But what happened? Saul, in his haste, did something he shouldn't have did. Offered a burnt offering and a peace offering to the Lord, which was not for him to do. See, he didn't trust that God's man was going to come back in time and tell him what they should do, and he was going to, don't worry about it, he got it. Sometimes our impatience. That's why I say he trusted in what he saw and what I know. Well, I know the priest, I'll go ahead on and offer the burnt offering and peace offering to the Lord, and I'll get an answer, and Lord, accept that. No. And what happened when Samuel come back? Saul, what have you done? And what we know the rest of the story. He lost the kingdom. Maybe not right immediately, but he lost the kingdom. It was told to him, the kingdom is yours. It's lost now. You're no longer going to be the king. And we know that happened. But what that shows is he was impatient. And we have done that. And that's why I say we got to trust the Lord when maybe sometimes, man, I don't know what to do. Lord may be moving a little slow. He hears us. Psalms 40, and I think we will close with this. Psalms 40. Psalm 40, and we'll close. 40, 1 through 4. We can't be impatient like Saul was and take matters in our own hand. It happens. He trusted in what he could do, even though what he did was wrong. He trusted in what he can do. And we'll close with this here. See, he didn't wait patiently on the Lord. Psalm 40, 1 through 4. It's hard sometimes because that pressure to the flesh, just like what we read in Romans, that flesh, it gets a little weary. It does. Our mind starts, they say, playing tricks on us. Man, I need to do something. So you start trusting in your own ways. And it costs us. It costs me. Even as a Christian, it has cost me because I have jumped the gun on things and I got in a big mess. But the Lord is grace and mercy. I had to deal with that mess, but then I saw the Lord working in the mess and our mess and my mess, clean it up. But I had to deal with the repercussions now. But then the Lord, if you would have waited, this is what I had for you. Psalm 40, and we'll close. This is where we need to be. It's not that the Lord don't hear us, but it's like what verse say, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my going. He had put a new song in my mouth, and even praise unto our God. Many shall see it and fear, and look what it say, and trust in the Lord. Look what it say, blessed is the man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respected not the proud, nor search or turn aside to lies. This is where we should be, brethren. We should just wait patiently. Trust the Lord. Don't go out on our own and do things that, hey, let me just wait and see what the Lord says. And he understands. We're going to make a mistake. We're going to sometimes jump the gun. But, we look at it now, the Lord is a lot. Listen, there was a lot of strictness going on back in the days. The Lord wasn't playing, but that was for us to realize this and here. Okay, we on the grace and mercy, but we should have a fear of the Lord. Just wait and trust him, because when we don't, it's going to get messy. So I'll close with that. We wait patiently on the Lord, for he inclined. He's going to hear us. We're his. We don't have to worry. He's going to hear us. Trust him. And that's my message, just simply trusting God, regardless of what you may see or what's going on around us in this world, what's going on in our lives, simply trusting God. It will deliver us. It will keep our hearts at peace. And, we can go on and live a life with joy and peace, because when we don't trust Him, it's chaotic. We know that. All right, brothers. Thank y'all for the time.